A lonely woman is stunned to see the toy she made for her own little girl she lost touch with 26 years before in the hands of an orphan child. Tina Doubleday was a lonely woman. She was 56 and alone. She had once been married, but her marriage had ended 26 years ago and Tina had never married again. She muffled the pain of her loneliness by doing volunteer work at a local orphanage, where she played the part of part-time granny for many of the lonely little souls who lived there. One day, one of those orphans brought her painful past back to life unexpectedly. "Tina, Tina!" cried Polly, one of the smallest girls and Tina's secret favorite. "Look what I've got!" Polly held up a teddy bear that had obviously seen a lot of love as she ran towards Tina. As Polly held the teddy bear up, Tina felt the strength flow out of her legs and she staggered towards one of the benches in the playground and sat down. She knew that knitted teddy bear. She had made it herself from scraps of wool she'd begged from a neighbor in order to make a present for her daughter's 4th birthday. Deddy, her daughter had called it, and she'd refused to sleep without Deddy in her arms. Those had been some of the darkest days in Tina's life. She had been trapped in an abusive relationship and realized she couldn't support herself. Most importantly, she couldn't support her daughter. Tina could escape, take to the streets, and try to survive, but could she do the same to a tiny 4-year-old? So she left her child in the orphanage, telling herself she'd be back soon. Her last vision of her daughter was of the little girl holding Deddy in her arms and waving the toy's hand in a gesture of goodbye. Now that same teddy bear was here in her hands once again. "Polly, where did you get this?" she asked. "Well, there's this lady who comes here every week to play with us," Polly explained. "She's very sad, you know, like you. Anyway, she brings us toys and yesterday she told me she had something special for me. You see, I told her I miss my mommy a lot, so Cynthia brought me the teddy because she said that he helped her when she missed her mommy." "Cynthia?" Tina gasped. "That's the lady's name?" "Yes," Polly said. "That's it. She's really nice. You should meet her. She always comes on Thursday mornings." The next Thursday morning, Tina was at the orphanage sitting on the park bench waiting with a thundering heart for Cynthia to appear. It had to be her daughter. Tina knew that Cynthia had been adopted by a loving couple from the same orphanage when she was 6, and when she had finally got her life back together, it was too late. The orphanage director had explained that now that Cynthia was nearly 9, tearing her away from the family she'd grown to love would be cruel. "She's so happy," he'd told Tina gently. "She's one of our success stories and she's loved." "I love her too," Tina had whispered as tears ran down her cheeks. "I know," the director said kindly, "but you did give her up and we're committed to doing what is best for the child, your child." And so Tina has walked away from Cynthia and left her in her new and happy life. Now, after 26 years, she had an opportunity to see her daughter again. "Even if I don't say anything," Tina thought, "seeing her will be enough. I won't disturb her or upset her life." Suddenly, she heard Polly shouting, "Tina, Tina, here's the lady with a teddy." Polly was dragging a slim woman in her early 30s towards Tina. "Come on, Cynthia, meet my Granny Tina." Cynthia stopped in front of Tina and smiled. "Hello, I see we're both Polly's friends," she said. Tina nodded. "Yes, I especially like the teddy you gave her," she said in an unsteady voice. "Where did you get it?" Cynthia smiled. "My birth mother made it for me, and for years it was my best friend," she explained. "Whenever I was sad or lonely, I would hold it and remember her voice singing to me." "It was very kind of you to give Deddy to Polly," Tina said. Cynthia stood stock still and stared at Tina. "How did you know?" "Excuse me?" Tina asked, confused. "How did you know the teddy's name?" Cynthia asked, and she took a step forward and grabbed Tina's hand. I know you, it's you." Tina started crying. "I'm sorry, please don't hate me, Cynthia," she sobbed. "Walking away from you was the hardest thing I ever did, but I had nowhere to go and you came back for me," Cynthia said softly. "The director told me a few years ago after my adoptive parents died. He said you walked away so I'd have a stable, happy childhood. I know you loved me, Mommy. I know everything. I forgive you." Tina was sobbing in her daughter's arms and Polly growled triumphantly, "I knew you were her daughter. You have the exact same eyes." Cynthia laughed. "Yes, we do, Miss Smarty Pants," she said. "I was going to ask you today if you think you'd like me for a mommy one day, and guess what? You get a granny too." If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with someone who may find it interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.